Voting will conclude in France today, and by this evening we should know the answer as to who will be the next leader of France. Now, this election has got the Guardianistas nervously sipping their soy lattes and chugging on their vapes because the far-right National Rally leader Marine Le Pen is closer to power than ever. The only thing stopping Le Pen from getting in is a coalition of globalist and leftist parties designed to keep her out. Of course, the BBC is pushing that line as being very important. However, they never ask one very important thing. Why is Le Pen gone from relatively fringe politician to someone who's essentially the leader of the French right? As I stated in a video yesterday, I believe it's because a lot of Europeans fundamentally feel that they're not allowed a say on the future of their own countries and their own continent. For all her supposed faults, that's what Le Pen represents to many French people, a choice on their actual future. The MSM can keep attacking her and calling her and anyone votes for her evil, but they're not addressing the key points when they do that. Key point A is the huge levels of immigration and cultural change France has witnessed. No one has dealt with that on the centre-right. Henceforth, what choice do the French people have other than leftist globalism or Marine Le Pen? Secondly, where's a valid counter case for people who are going to vote for Le Pen to vote elsewhere? Now, I'm speaking as an Englishman here, but I think France, deep down, is an amazing country. As one great French general said, England is our most beloved rival, and I feel many British feel the same way about the French. As much as we rib each other and have a checkered history, it's hard not to admit that France has some of the finest art, some of the finest food, and some of the finest architecture. Is mass immigration going to improve all of those things? Is it going to create more Mont Saint-Michels? If it is, they need to explain how. Secondly, is it tolerance France is supposed to embrace for the rest of its life? A tolerance that seemed the French welcome many groups which seem actively hostile to its way of life, its women, and have really engaged in some absolutely brutal terror attacks. The only comeback leftists seem to have in this regard is to sneer at French people for immigration winning them the World Cup. Although the question is open, would French people rather win the World Cup or have not had mass immigration? Of course, you're not allowed to ask that question. You're only allowed to be sneered at as the stupid bigot you are. And this brings me to the final point. France, like much of Europe, has adopted this globalist, liberal, multiculturalist policy, which is completely undemocratic, by the way. And it begs the question, despite having all these cultures from Togo and Algeria supposedly enriching France, should that be at the sacrifice of Paris? Paris is already gone pretty much. The rest of France is probably soon to follow. Now, if Paris, which was known as the jewel of Europe, losing its identity is a good thing, then please explain why in rational terms. There's no need to yell at people, call them racist and evil. If it's so simple to explain, please pray tell. But of course, as in the rest of Europe, there aren't any rational cases they ever make. They just yell racist at you, and if they get past that, they'll say you're heartless for not welcoming people from every corner of the earth. So it seems to me that many traditional French have been left without much of a choice. They simply want to maintain the culture of their historic country and live in peace. The only question now is, can the establishment left stop Le Pen? These are just my views, however. Do let me know what you think down below, and do consider subscribing to the channel.